museum, the other one here, then we'd switch it. And I'd have historic committee people at both sites, you know, kind of guiding and watching. So I guess I'm asking for permission to have a key to be able to get into the courthouse that afternoon.
I'll make a motion for.
I'll second.
You're gonna have access to key.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Just an update on the Cades Bridge, engineering firm told us they should have the bidding repair specs ready by the end of the month. So hopefully in September, we'll start soliciting bids and maybe actually awarding a bid in October or something like that.
Great. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you. Okay,
Great. Great.
okay, yes,
Yeah, just.
Wanted to check and see what they want to have the land auction up at the county home ground and then
What date did you have in mind?
I'm looking at maybe August 31st.
And that's a Thursday,
Yeah, Thursday.
before Labor Day.
Yeah. If you want to go with that, we can do that.
Yeah, do we have to advertise it?
Yeah.
Greg takes care of that, okay.
Yeah, Roger and Ken got everything ready. And so it's great now.
What time?
6 o'clock up here or 7. Well, oh, is 30 days to be in or? I'm not sure.
I think there, yeah, because of the your, how many times do you normally,
Twice.
publish twice?
Yeah.
As long as the two publications can fit in before the 31st, that's the only.
Okay. Yeah, we can
So
do
you
that.
might have to move it out another week, but you have to have time for. both.
okay, you're gonna have to get in there pretty quick.
Or you want to back it up a week? We'll back it up.
Probably for ease, it would be, since we only have one paper,
Yeah. We'll just go back up a week and then, yeah, be all right.
Since I don't maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, be all right. I'll get you copies this afternoon or tomorrow.
then. Okay,
Get the new date.
okay.
Anything else on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. That'll be September 7th.
Number 7.
And when you say here, Covington, are you talking about what they say?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I told him to be done. I didn't know.
Yes, Carol.
The city of Covington don't have anything to tip hearing tonight. Is anybody, I mean, anybody from the county gonna be there?
I don't know, what is it at 6 o'clock or
30?
5:30? I didn't know when they were having it. I knew that they were still going through the process of the TIF because now the schools don't have the authority to shut it down.
Well, it's taking a lot of funds away from the county. And they're not gonna stop there, I don't think, so.
Well, Attica has several TIF districts, Petersburg, I mean, the county itself doesn't have a TIF district and, the only thing that's really taken away is, you know, the growth, you know, the investors are investing in it. So whatever the base is, you know, the county is gonna get that.
They're not gonna be out any money because the city is going to put up a bond. The developers themselves aren't going to, the way I understand it.
Yeah.
The county still receive the money from the property of the homes and that tip.
Yeah, the base assessment doesn't change. If,
Yeah, whatever it is right now.
whoever it is at the time that the economic development area is put in place, all the taxing units are still paid the same amount. It's just that once the property is developed and it's reassessed, then that's the I in tax increment financing, that's the increment that's captured and used to pay for bonds, pay for infrastructure, and pay for the project. And then
It's only 10 years.
yeah, and so after 10 years, then all the taxing units get all the reassessed value. And the argument is, there's not gonna, tax income financing, no government's having that economic development tool, there is an economic development. And you can make the case with economic development in Fountain County, a lot of similarly situated rural counties haven't traditionally used TIF and tax increment financing, and I think the lack of economic development in rural counties speaks for itself.
Yeah, urban do it all the time.
Thank you for explaining that, Tina, for all of us. Some of us, you know, deal with a little bit more than.
Just one more point, with the economic development, with jobs, if a county has local option income tax, I believe. County has, then that is not. Then the growth, the county gets that growth, they will option income tax and. Local for schools and the main objection to school, you know, that's hurting them, but. On average, schools get $7,000 per pupil in federal dollars. That's how it's just how it's allocated, and TIF doesn't affect that. So there's an argument to be made that TIF is a way to raise votes or raise the tide, and rising tide raises all votes. It's easy to get hung up on the increment that's captured to pay for that, but there's a lot more to it. Economic development, the ripples out, in my opinion, to everybody.
But if employees are working Danville or in Illinois, we don't get any of their taxes.
If they're living here, you get all of their spending on local businesses and.
Yeah, and what's that? They're working in Danville, they come to Meyer, or like,
Well,
Well, before they do years, we get that, right? So we're actually adding people to the role, and they're spending money, whether it's at the gas station or the local. So we are capturing some growth in that.
You're gonna get it in some way.
Yes.
But you got the schools, the ball games, you know, if they have children, you know, we don't know. I think the housing, the anticipation is, you know, kids, we wanna try and get some growth going on in the county. Cause it's been erratic, you know, rural areas.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's doing well.
yes,
Fountain Central School District and Attica
for sure.
are losing
Yeah.
students. Fountain Central went in 1A for the first time in who knows how long.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Erratica is absolutely critical if you do it.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah, well, Fountain Central getting there.
Yeah.
So. Yep. Okay.
All right, let's move on to further the July 17th. Yeah, going. Sure.
Thank you, most of you, my name is Paul Warren. And I would like to say a thank you to Jason and his crew of the Fountain County Highway Department for the fine job they did on chip and seal on several of our county roads. Did a great job. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Paul. You guys work awful hard and very seldom hear that.
And there's fire out there too.
We get plenty of complaints on rock chips and blah, 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 and clean it up.
I heard some comments on, boy, this chip and seal is gonna get some windshields or this, that, and the other. Slow down, it won't.
Yeah,
Give it a chance to settle and you'll have a nice hike.
right. Well, unfortunately, you just can't control that. You got to keep it, it's gonna drive like a maniac, and you're taking your time, but that's a part of it, so. But thank you for that comment.
Yes, okay. And we had a joint meeting on July 17th.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 17th regular and special meeting minutes.
Okay, the joint meeting.
Joint meeting.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Claims 1 through 180 in the amount of $158,830, 28 cents. The unpublished and payroll claims.
I'll make a motion to accept. These are extremely high this time. We've paid out.
Emulsa coat, candles, for the bridge and John Deere was a lease of.
And those were all over 100,000. Weren't they, or some more?
No, all those three together is about $500,000.
Okay. There you go. That's three that we generally don't pay, and that will take it back down to the normal levels. I'll make a motion to accept the published claim, unpublished and payable claim.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Fine to go. Report of collections as submitted, for the health department for June.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Go. Review and acknowledge the first month of the report for June.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Fine to go. Rod, got to you now. I know you hand us something and I asked Rod to come just to kind of get a little summary of things that he's been working on for the county.
Okay, and I will do the same for the council next week, so,
Okay.
at least for the first few months, there's no reason not to continue the conversation. It's very detailed, because I want you to understand the scope of work and the amount of effort that goes in. There is quite a bit on here, for Attica, because we're already in the works in Attica. So, the organization, just to skim through that portion and you can look at more detail, we were able to identify 3 of the 5 new positions. And, we did receive some commitment for that, so that's a big hurdle. We've got 2 more that we're working on, for Petersburg and, so, we hope to have that resolved soon. And then September 12th is our first countywide board meeting. So we will be up and fully running by that point. We're asking for a 4-year commitment, so, you know, it's quite a leap for people. We're getting there. We are working on some, basic things for the league organization, just to streamline it. And then also we did get registered with SAMS.org, which is really important for grants, USDA specifically. If I want to get anything there, I need to submit .org registration. Comprehensive plan, we talked about that. We're working with the commissioners to fine tune that so that when they finish the comprehensive plan, we'll be able to just check off every year what we've achieved. So it'll be very clear what we're going for. The regional coordination effort, we have been a part of Ready One, which is a state administered federal grant process, and it was challenging because we were not up and running and the regional group was not up and running. So we got through that as difficult as it was. Now we're into Ready Two, and Ready Two we need a better organization. You know, it's just not really, we don't have a strong voice in that. And most of the votes in the organization are rural counties. So I've coordinated with the other counties and put together monthly meetings. So we're now talking about how we want it to go. We have a memorandum of understanding that we've started to work through with the parent group. The challenge, as you might expect, is Lockhead is a big behemoth, and we have a completely different agenda than we do. And so we're trying to get a system where we can communicate and have some balanced conversation. And then that could lead to an RDA. I think it's way off. A regional development authority, which would have the ability to go after federal grants and do much more. But a lot of those mean giving up a little bit of our autonomy. So a lot of people really won't vote on that, and so we get much further along in our cooperation. So that's way out in the future. Okay. Legal workspace, yeah. It's so disappointing. I wanted to be knee deep in demo, but we found black mold in the basement. And we've had a scare that city operations person said that we had lost 25,000 gallons through their water system in the basement. And so we went through a whole process with the insurance and then found out that their meter was wrong. So it's not that issue, it's actually water coming in from the foundation, and we believe the neighbor, which is another dilapidated building, is not taking care of the water runoff, so it's just running right in. So we've got a $16,000 hit for mold mitigation, and then we've got to seal it up and do all of that before we actually can start it up. But the contractor is under contract. The way we are handling this, Colleen, is for the 3 bids required for ARPA, we just signed with one general contractor without additional bids, but each sub bid has 3 bids. So every time he goes for framing or whatever, there are 3 bids associated with each one. And the reason for that is we were having trouble finding a contractor. And then we really wanted to control those sub bids because we have a finite amount of money. So this allows us to just do piece by piece. Unfortunately, with the schedule, because the streets are under construction next year, we can't open until August, September next year anyway. So that allows us to manage that. Right now, we're still targeting a ground floor completion. Upstairs will be correct, but not complete with our budget. And then if we can achieve the 2 grants that we're moving towards this fall, the exterior should be complete as well. So that's good. There's a lot of detail there, but you can read that separately. The market, and I'm including the market as a county project, even though, you know, you guys financially contributed, you definitely will contribute in terms of occupation and participation.
Well, it's like anything in the county, you know, if it's in the county, it's county project.
I agree with you.
So if it's in static, Kevin Petersburg, whatever, Walls, England.
And our goal is to, you know, help the businesses start and then help them find a spot in, you know, England or Hillsborough or.
Right.
Yeah. So that is moving along. It's a handful. And I'm actually doing a little bit more than I would normally do because of my background, but it needs it. So we've got HWC working around us for grade and parking lots and so forth. And then we've got a challenging grade situation inside the market because the building's twisted and turned and they have multiple door entrances. So we hired KJG, hired HWC, and now they're going back through all the grades and adjusting to make it all work. It's very complicated, more than I wanted to, but we see a path. They just gotta get it done. And then the buildings, I review each step. I just work as the design manager on that, just to make sure it hits where it needs to go. So we're doing interior layouts, which would determine where the mechanical goes. And I've been working with the health department a little bit on that to get that right. And then we're also working on where the outside furniture and landscape goes and the electrical and so forth. So we're kind of inching towards a completed CD set. I cannot go in for construction permit until we own the properties. So also associated with this is us coordinating with civil and the city attorney to produce new property lines, new documents, draft reviewed by the city council. So there's a lot of little coordination going on there. We also have utilities in that back alley that are on poles, and it's Duke Energy and massive Duke Energy stuff. And then AT&T and Comcast on those poles. Plus, we had gas, but we were able to get all of those gas mains removed. So it's a challenge, especially when you're not setting up a pile of cash to get all that to happen. But we are making it happen piece by piece. So Duke Energy has agreed to come in and do an initial design, and we have a path forward for doing that. And then I have to go back to Duke Foundation and ask them to pay for it. So and then we just went through a round of coordination with AT&T, and you know, Sharon Nagel being a state rep has been incredibly valuable because we were able to get to people. Otherwise, it would be really challenging. Even then, Duke Energy took 6 months to show up. So, all right. So we have the rest of that block there that I continue to work on. So part of economic development, sometimes it's just problem solving. It may not be something that we do, but we're trying to put the parts and pieces together. So I did walk through an abandoned building behind us. And I'm trying to talk her into a phase one environmental study because there's a dry cleaner in that building. She's not calling me back, so that tells me she's not interested. But I've got to sort of wrangle these players around us together. I did meet with developer out of Lafayette that is interested potentially in putting in residential in those buildings and then building behind and creating a whole, multi-use facility. He's also interested in the elementary, and so I'm working with him and Clarity and Collins to try and bring multifamily to Attica because they desperately need it. So then housing in general, right now I am focused on the Way development, which is next to the high school. And we're not doing a lot right at the moment. There's 67 homes now instead of 47. So I'm coordinating with the city. They actually have to strike an agreement with the developer of how those ready funds are going to be used and appropriated. And so the city of Attica doesn't really do those things easily. And so I have to get in there and kind of, have the conversation with various people, and then it eventually happens. Now, we're focused, like I said, on Attica quite a bit, but we did have a conversation last week with Hillsborough, and they have a repaving project coming through with NDOT, and they're having some challenges coordinating their sidewalks and so forth. So this month, I expect that we'll get involved in that and try and help them through that process. And then, let's see, what do we got next? Street enhancements, I won't go into too much detail, but essentially, I've coordinated all that for them. That's not typical of an economic developer, but they just really don't have anyone, so I jumped in there. And that's it.
Good. Thank you, Rob. Sure. Yeah, nervous breakdown talking about all that.
Not as you.
Hey.
Well, it's just swimming for details, it's most of it.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
that being said, I think Tim, we need to appoint one of us to the WIDA board, correct? Not a voting person, but just on the board, because no elected officials,
Right.
Oh, one thing I did forget, sorry, we are trying to set up a meeting with all of the superintendents. So if you know them, please encourage them, because we did have Covington and Fountain Central get back to us, Attica has not, but we want a group meeting. And we have not been able yet to coordinate
The
that.
Atticus guy's brand new, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's in there.
And,
It's really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just try him one more time,
Sure.
but I don't, well.
yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. Encouragement from the commissioners to come together would be helpful, not that they're opposed to it, but it would be helpful.
Right, right.
All right.
Okay, do you, it
I
doesn't
don't
matter.
care. It doesn't matter to me, if you,
It doesn't matter, no, I'm appointing you.
okay,
But if,
go ahead and then we
okay,
can,
I make a motion to appoint Brenda Harvey to the legal board, to nominate.
I guess I have a second for myself. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so good. But Sanders not here. That
Right, there's not getting from there.
I know,
He's a third grade teacher now.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, no, they did not have a third grade. Went in and the principal and superintendent basically asked him, can you fill in until we get someone? So he's driving the bus. He's headed bus transportation to a classroom right now.
I know, Tina has that shocked look and I'm like, yeah, but I heard that too. Okay, let's move on to the transfers, seated for the commissioners, $500 from postage to printing and advertising. Interaction deferral, transcripts, in the amount of $155.37 to special prosecutor equipment.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer request.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Peterson Consulting, the contract, in the amount of $3,025. If you have any budget for it.
Yes, I do have money, but for next year, or this year, but
They can't, sorry, you've looked at that contract there.
Or, oh, yes, yeah,
I sent, yeah.
yes.
I'll make the motion to, that contract with Peterson Consulting.
All second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, two. The courthouse annex proposals, qualifications, we received two. Boy and J.R. Kelly, and Tim, did you have anything to say about it? I mean,
No,
the three of us, reviewed it.
I'm going for the motion on the floor to hire, or is it hire or contract?
Contract with,
Yeah, to accept the
Proposal to accept the proposal Envoy because they just finished up Montgomery counties. Same thing that we're asking them to do, what they need to do here. They did a phenomenal job, and that's what they do. J.R. Kelly, great company, they did a great job on our jail. They did a good job, one of the few who did. And, but they just don't do this every day like Envoy does, so we feel it'll be a much smoother transition with someone who does this every day, so.
So I'll second your motion to accept the proposal from Envoy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, two. I sent the agreement for the rest of. They're partnering with Architectura. For the courthouse renovations and our other buildings that the county's own. And I think we're still reviewing that agreement, or we not, can't. I reached out to Harebrant, his attorney, I think was supposed to reach out to you too, and they did
Yeah,
clarify.
they responded. My recommendation would be the same, the agreement you have now for their project development agreement, yeah, is it's standalone as a service to the extent that if at the end of this work, which is scoped out, moving everything back into,
They were gonna have the email, but it fell.
yeah, into September, October. Once they perform all this, and then this gets them to a energy savings, guaranteed energy savings contract. This was, it was properly advertised and taken under advisement in 2001, so it's been under advisement for quite a while because of funding and different issues, but I believe Nebraska was the only respondent at the time. So, I mean, subject to I have no idea what the guaranteed energy savings contract looks like. But as far as accepting this now, it's just a matter of whether, so if once they present you with a proposed plan that they're gonna do under this development, under this current agreement or consideration. If that leads to a guaranteed energy savings contract, then there's no fee for this. If you don't enter into that guaranteed savings contract, then the cost of this development or the project development is $17,500. So that's what's, you're at risk. It just has to be, make sure that's funded that, and there, based on the information I received, if you would be able to enter into that agreement. Because of the that was taken under advisement, it was properly used.
So, I think the hangup right now is the council is gonna be meeting Monday. And I think they would like to have some input as far as, financing this, which. Rightly so, I think in the beginning, they were made aware that there would possibly be a like on-call agreement or something, we just didn't know at the time. So according to the timeline within this agreement, do you think we have time to wait until our next commissioners meeting to act on this?
Yeah, I think you probably should wait, and then the only thing that changes is their time frame in the agreement would have to be revised to push those dates back that are in their time events, and right now, that's not an issue. I mean, unless Amoresco is saying, take it or leave it.
No,
I don't think they are
No, no.
either.
a positive for Amoresco working with Mr. Conley is they crawled through this building 2 or 3 years ago. They had their engineers here. They know everything, every inch of this building. And Michael Conley said because of that, that will save a tremendous amount of money. Probably well over the 17,000.
It has saved
Because
Michael time.
they've already shared
Shared
everything
everything with them.
with him.
And they've
Not
met
getting
multiple
done.
times, yeah. So the two companies have been meeting together. I don't know how many, multiple times, and so right now,
They work on several different projects.
we're gonna be meeting with, Mike Conley from Architectura on August 18th at 10:30 here to just review his findings. I don't know that we need an actual meeting, we're just, receiving information. But I'd ask, maybe some of the council if they would attend as well, to hear those findings. So they would better understand, where we're heading.
And just to get it out there, so we can't say we're not hiding anything. This is probably, and I'm by far no expert, but this is probably gonna be a total gut, this courthouse. These walls are literally caving in behind this wallpaper. There are places you can stick your finger through, and there's nothing until you hit the limestone. So it will be a total renovation. We'll probably have to shut the courthouse down and move everybody out. It isn't going to be a minor fix. I think the courthouse was built in 37. Historians, is that correct? About 37. So these water lines are 80 years old. The people who work on them say they could bust any minute. And when they do, we're shutting the courthouse down. Because they just can't do anything with it. The old lines can't fix them, they can't. We put Band-Aids on long enough. And this is the last one, I think, in the area. Montgomery, Warren, Vermillion Park have all redone their courthouses. If you've been by them in the last 10 or 15 years.
Warren County had one.
It's
And
just
Warren
fine.
County had a leak and really destroyed some of their documents, so.
Yeah,
We're just trying to prevent, that from happening.
it's going to be expensive. It all.
I believe we have discussed this, with some of the council, it's gonna be expensive, but.
Yeah, and the route that is being proposed is it's just what it says, it's a guaranteed savings agreement, so it's a special process under Public Works. And what Amoresco would be proposing is they would evaluate all the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing facilities in the entire courthouse and other county properties. And then they would propose a contract to rehabilitate all of that. And then in the course of that, they come to terms on, you know, if you change, if this has changed in the plumbing, or if this has changed in the electrical, they set benchmarks for savings. And then contractually, if at the end of the year, the county realizing the savings, then the contractor, that's the guaranteed part of it, the contractor pays for those differences. And Mr. Shoemaker just mentioned Montgomery County, and they're big numbers. Montgomery County invested $1 million to $2 million in their courthouse, MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing renovations in 2012. And they're by a guaranteed contract, and their savings since then have been immense, and the lack of just having to pay for continual deferred maintenance is savings on top of all that.
When I say a total, that I meant the outside walls especially, not the murals. That's like that.
Well, the county spent a lot of money to protect the murals.
Yeah,
Yeah, and there's been issues on the backside of the murals that,
we're
need to be addressed.
talking windows, doors, roof. The roof is a monster all its own, that big glass dome.
Yeah.
Because
they talk about heating and cooling the entire building, not just the offices, like the atrium area would also have heating and cooling. So you have a constant, temperature. So anyway, so you think we're fine on, tabling it until our next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Dark. We'll go with the department heads now. Morning.
Just a few things. We're scheduled to go on the 15th of August over to Horton and do pre-construction, go through that with him. He did send me an email last week. It appears that we will get delivery, or they'll get delivery of 2 Ford chassis for the Horton ambulances. Sometime September, October. There's no news on the Chevy chassis for the remount yet, so he was gonna work on that this week. So, concert went well last week on the 29th. I think around, there was over 3,000 pre-concert tickets sold, but they didn't count what was at the gate, so we're thinking it was close to 5,000. Total. People there somewhere in that area, so. It went well.
I was thinking more like 1,500.
No, there was 3 tickets, 3,000, she said, and then that didn't count what was sold at the gate. So,
Okay.
yeah. I do have an employee that's gonna go out on FMLA for a while. He's gonna have back surgery, so that opens up a spot there. We'll have to fill with full-time, part-time, so it's gonna pretty much shoot my budget with that. So I'm gonna work on trying to see if I can move some money, but don't know how much I'm gonna be able to move. I'll keep you updated on that. And the outside lights have all been installed and the driveway has been sealed, so everything looks pretty good there.
Right.
Other than that, we're trying to keep the trucks on the road. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have a good idea next week on the timeline on the 2 brand new ones. And figure out on the other 2. So that's all I had.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Dana?
I figured Josh wasn't here, so.
Okay, still have a lot of overtime. I had one dispatcher leave immediately on Monday. I've got another one that's leaving on the 18th. I do have 2 part-timers that I will be looking into hiring, one that's possibly going to come back. I am needing a full-time staff member. I will be going to days on green shift in order to get it covered. Still working on the CAD documents with Caliber. We did have our meeting, our demo, it was very successful. We've got a lot of good feedback from that. So I'm getting all my notes ready to talk to the council. We'll be working with a grant with Tina on communications, see where we can go with that, see if it can help us and help us get some money. That's gonna be an issue. I've also been in contact with Barry on all these matters as well and trying to make sure everybody's informed on what's going on in dispatch. Also want to thank you guys for your patience and your understanding on what is going on, so.
But absolutely nothing can be done about it, so just you're doing what you can do.
Thank you, I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't know, we totally understand that, appreciate it.
So working a lot
That's
of.
a rough part of the job, isn't it?
It is, but you know, it has to be done, so I'll make sure that there are individuals in our chairs to take care of that.
I appreciate your communication with all of us on it.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Nope.
I don't.
All right, you guys have a good day then.
Thank you.
Yeah. Not really a lot, just the grant you talked about is a BRIC grant, which pays 75%. Looking forward to moving on with this office, and I've had a lot of people reach out and want to work together, including the school, which is a plus. So that's about it.
Awesome.
Yes.
We forgot to get it on the agenda, we need to appoint Tina from this, the emergency management, position always should have been appointed each year, like Garth and Jason and different people are appointed each year to that job. So I will make a motion to as of the day the 28th, Joe retired
That was his last official day for him.
Tina Holmes, Fountain County Emergency Management Director.
And I'll second that, all those in favor,
Aye.
2-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the office. It's great. I went in the other day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is Sheriff back there?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I've got 3 parole, Will Sullivan, and 7 DOC cemetery with me.
How many someone?
How many?
12.
What was the other number? I'm sorry.
You said it so fast.
7 DOC.
7 DOC. Okay.
Fountain County resident. Or just in your custody anyhow.
We have 33. Yep.
Mine, with these guys or without?
That's without these guys.
The 33-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now, we're sitting at 84 inmates in jail.
Okay.
Let's see if I can work on.
Got 55 from those numbers.
Okay,
All right.
that's what Josh gave me this morning.
Okay.
55, but I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So,
Hey, it's Monday.
it is. I mean, it started at 7 o'clock this morning, so. Anyway, the things with the jail, we finally found out where Paulie jail got the glass room. And yes, we're having a hard time getting that glass. So, yeah, they said it'd be 6 months out. I don't know.
I inquired about that. Very specialized class.
Yes.
That's the problem. Last time Morgan, I said, what's the annual? It's like, Roger, I don't know how the previous bidder was getting on bid because they have to meet those specs.
Right.
And we can't just find that glass, so thanks for your patience on that, it's gotta be done right.
It does, because if you put it in there and, I mean, you remotely tighten one. You know, do the whole thing and you're waiting again.
Yeah.
So. You know, we had a little bit of problems with the plumbing, got them fixed. Scotty Williams came in and fixed it for us. So, have had no leaks.
Better turn around.
Yeah, we're good there. So many problems. We're getting ready to start the process for the merit deputy spot.
2 weeks when it's going to be better, so. Then.
You full as far as jailers and everything?
Yeah. We are. So it's, right now, we're running pretty well. Yeah, so I'm liking it. Okay, any headaches right now? If not. Oh, man. Yeah, everybody's like getting back earlier in this ballpark, but you guys have anything for me?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sheriff, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
And the commissioners, the lift station. Design is completed, everything is ready to go out for bid. I need to do advertisement, I just need your nods to proceed. And then Sheriff, I need to know if there's 480 volt drop at your facility. Who can get us that in circuit? If not, then we'll have to come off the telephone pole, the electric pole from drop.
John, just the answer, but I'm gonna say yes, there is.
Okay. Can you just confirm? please?
I can.
Just text me, say we got that, and I'm good to go with it.
Okay, I will send you a message today.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Commissioners, you guys are okay with us advertising the bids locally in Crawfordsville? I think you have to advertise twice. I just need a green light to proceed, or do you want to hold back for a bit? Whatever you're ready to do.
No, I think.
No, they're very patient.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll proceed with advertising.
Anyways, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Barry.
you. Anybody here from the health department? Or, okay, you're blind light.
You couldn't see me?
Well, all is.
Jimmy's on vacation.
I don't
have anything unless you guys have something for us.
Stone Bluff property, that one is Stone Bluff, is it? In some type of,
Is that the one where the house burned down?
yeah,
Yes, I believe that's with Kent, but we started Friday. Prioritizing our list of all the properties that we have. To be on the list, and that is one of them on the list that we have, so.
so. Is it in a process now where we're waiting for her to respond, or, I mean, what would be the next step, because I get asked questions on that.
Yeah, that's an unsafe building order, and we're ready to, issue that order and start that. Then she would have a chance to respond, and we would have to have a hearing here at the, in a commissioner's meeting.
Okay. Well, let's roll with it.
Okay.
Because that's been up a long time,
Yeah.
maybe some kid, I've got some falling off.
Okay, so that's the property we
Rat.
took care of, the well and.
Yep, very taken care of, well, septic, fill them in.
Okay, that brings up, we had discussion about the unsafe building fund that was established in 2019. There was an ordinance. I don't think that we ever actually collected money.
No, that's. That's something that can either be funded from the general fund, collections on. Unsafe building enforcement are, they're zombie properties, so it's a lot of alternative, so it's not good to count on funding coming from the process that, itself, that
Okay,
has to be.
well, there's a question from,
The health department's ready to get involved in this big time, so.
mhm. So we just didn't know what we had to do.
Well, the unsafe building order is. Well, we can help.
Okay.
Okay,
Can I ask a question? Can you send me the unsafe building ordinance? Because,
Yeah.
I didn't use that.
Yeah, there's state statute and the county has.
It's state statute, and then each local government just has to pass an ordinance adopting the state statute as it's to enforce the local law.
So I can look that up online.
Yeah. We quote it chapter and verse, I'll close. But I can still email to you.
Give me your email, I'll send it to you.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Send it to me.
okay.
we'll share it with
Anybody
everybody. Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you it with the state and county ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric.
Greg or Roger, you have anything for landfill?
You made any progress yet on the reporting, heard from my changing our
Oh,
report,
I skipped over Jason, sorry.
lined up radius.
So you're gonna go last.
People, that's fine, yeah,
Okay.
other than that, no, we don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Jason, I skipped over you. I was making notes and I just covered up highway. I didn't want to talk to you today.
I just got a few updates on some projects that's going on.
Okay.
We did finish up our chip sealing. We added about 5 more miles, so we were close to the 40-mile mark. Greg Campbell has gotten Bridge 54 demolished and got the beams sitting down on the site, ready to set. We are going to be installing the pipe on Powell's Corner tomorrow and trying to get the stuff done before school starts Wednesday. So the road will be closed down tomorrow. Speaking of school starting, last week we were out grading roads, trying to get things touched up, and we'll start mowing roadsides and cut some brush back from buses and everything. Bridge number 66. I received the LPA consultant contract from USI. Last week, I sent it to NDOT for their review, and at the August 21st meeting, we'll need to go ahead and sign that. As far as there's nothing NDOT sees. Katie McClure from USI will be here. And then we need to be under contract by September 1st for that bridge. So everything should be fine. We met with Milestone and USI last week on the CCMG project. And still have not gotten a timeline on when Milestone will start the paving project up on 1400.
I will say USI really pushed them hard.
Yes, yeah,
And said you will not be doing this in October.
right. Yeah, they have to have everything done by November 17th, I believe. So, they're looking at mid-September right now. So,
Cause they would do it in October when the
Right.
weather started getting bad and the asphalt wouldn't set right, getting the. I mean, you're right, if you're not squeaky wheel, they're gonna push you to the end, and I
so
bet he was very squeaky that day.
yes, I'm gonna call Josh Clark and Milestone today and see if they've got anything. One thing I do want to let you guys know, we had a new employee start back in June. And he came in without a CDL. We sent him to Williamsport to the learning center to do some testing. He completed all of his testing, and this is at no cost to the county. He will be going to Ivy Tech in Lafayette, starting, I believe, Monday, to continue to get his CDL. It's a 3 to 4 week class. But I just wanted to let you guys know that we did utilize that resource, and so far we've been happy with it. Especially since there's no cost to anyone.
Right.
So, he will be driving a county truck back and forth. But he came in June, and we gave him the 90 days to get it, and he's worked very hard. So it was a nice resource to have for that.
Great.
One last thing, I have the stop signs. I just forgot to bring them today. I'll email them to you
Okay.
for the ordinance. Maybe we can,
Is that high quality?
yes. Yeah, Roger and I and Travis met down there and went over the plan, so we have everything. But I'll email that to you, and we can put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay, Tim? Oh, Roger, you look like you have something to say.
I just want to give you the quick updates.
Okay,
Hillsborough, sewer, and you guys paid for the required design and the bid docs. The bid went out, received 2 bids. One was for 700,000 plus, one was for 380,000 plus change from Price Excavating. I wrote a letter of recommendation for the town to approve Price Excavating's bid at 380,000 plus, which is well within their budget. I gave that to Tom Fisher last week, and he's gonna share it with the city council and get approval, so I'm really excited to have Hillsborough get their sewer thing figured out and done. On Tuesday, last Tuesday, I got a visit from Wayne DeLong and Jen Hartley, they're with GMX Solar. They came in, to our office, they wanted to talk about the proposed project west of Attica, on the west side of Attica. There's no, they did not put a permit application in or anything, they just want to talk general, you know, are we within area of legal domains, what should we look forward to, what will trip us, what, you know, and I just shared with them exactly what I shared with the previous company. I told them that, I'm unbiased one way or the other, I'll just, I won't go through the process, and if they need anything, they can reach out. So that's just the latest updates.
I heard him, because I know you have some stuff.
Okay, but some of us back been answered, but, the property over by the recycle building, Antha, Roger and Kent have been working with them to finalize some things, but, I believe they're closing this Friday. Is that what I think that, and do we have to be a part of that anyway, shape or form? But I don't know, you never heard where the closing's gonna be or anything?
Yeah.
Somewhat different. Well, if it's a government though. Yeah, you. Well, that's probably funny, we didn't say anything for anybody from Cotton County to be there.
You can, we need to. You need to have I mean, you've approved the. First agreement has been approved a long time, I think, in approving that agreement, you've authorized the county to sign all necessary documents to close the transaction. But you may just make a motion to give the council president or designee the authority to sign to attend the closing.
The commissioner president?
Yeah. Either have the commissioner president attend, I mean, they can't close the transaction without the county there, so they need to make sure one of you is there.
Are you?
And when's this?
Well, that's Friday.
What time?
No idea.
I don't think they've set this meeting, so.
Okay, let me get it to Chris.
Mornings will be bad for me.
Okay.
No, it's not. I mean, you can have closing a lot of different ways. It's easiest to have everybody there at once and sign everything, but I'm sure that. Closing it and more than you, just it's more important from your standpoint that I recommend a motion now to authorize the. Commissioner President to sign all documents necessary to.
Or commissioner designate in case you can't make it. Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, because depending on where, what time,
Right,
that's been somewhere at 10:30.
okay. Then Maple Corner Roof. Alan Strawser. There was a couple bids put in, he was the only, well, no, there was a couple of people who wanted to bid on it. And only Alan Strawser turned the bid in. Which it looked like a good bid to me, so. We will be hiring Alan to put the new roof on the Maple Corner due to the hail damage. And he's also going to be taking off all the kitchen vents. Taking out the skylights. The claim called for replacing the skylights. So there's plenty of money in there to take these vents off, patch it with and I've got his work proposal here. Patch it with plywood and then cover it. And that way we will have, especially over the 911 section, where a lot of those kitchen vents are, we do not want that stuff above our 911. So anyhow, by not replacing the skylights and things, there's plenty of money in there. So his bid came in right about what the bid was, just to be shingled all around. So I was surprised because I figured it'd be more, because they're asking quite a bit more work. So county's really not gonna have to put hardly anything out, the insurance company will pay for it all. So I think that's it on Maple Corner.
Do we need a motion for that, to accept that? Can,
Yes.
okay. So I guess,
I'll make a motion to accept Alan Strawser's Fourth Street, roofing bid.
you have dollar amount.
$37,900.
Okay, I'll second that motion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then the insurance company. Once it's all done, we'll write a check for $36,258. So yeah, he was just a few $100s over
Mhm.
what the insurance company paying, so. Just
So
questions
we
on
got money that we can pay for the difference following. Okay.
We've got part of the insurance if it's 36,000. Cause
Yeah,
they took some stuff.
they'll
off.
know what they do is, they take send you an actual cash value payment of 32,000.
I have.
Then once the work is completed, they'll send the other 33,900, or $33,094, then that's it. That's just standard practice.
Okay, all right.
Yep,
And I've got the 32,000 already. It's in
Okay.
general.
yep, and then once he completes it, we'll send to EMC the, all that shows that it's completed and they'll pay the rest.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then lastly, we had a, recycle in Petersburg had a, electronics and tire recycle day last year. We had it in October, and we were freezing to death and it was rainy and cold, so
Windy.
this year we're gonna shoot for September the 20th, well, September the 23rd, definitely, that's a Saturday, but we might also do it. Well, let's just say the 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd would be regular business hours of the recycle. Which is what, like 7 to 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, the Saturday would be from 8 AM till noon. So we'll actually have 2 days this year. And they can bring TVs, computers, basically any electronics they want to throw away, and tires. And we'll have a limit on the amount of tires before we start charging. I think it's generally 4 tires, and then we start charging a certain amount. Auto and pickup tires. We're not calling them looking at you because you're,
No tractor tires,
yeah, no semi,
no semi,
yeah,
and I think it's 4 and then it's
$2.
$2 a tire.
Okay,
And,
and we'll get some,
do you want me to go ahead and advertise in the paper?
yes,
How many times? Just once, twice?
yeah, put it on the Facebook,
Okay,
maybe once in the paper, put it on the Facebook.
I'll put it on the website too.
Okay. And then we've got a lot of stuff in the basement of the courthouse that everyone's aware of that needs to go over this recycle day too.
Yeah, so if you could send a memo out to the departments to,
Yeah,
go through the basement and start purging, that'd be awesome.
I'd say if it's in the basement. It's done,
Exactly, because I've been down and
so
There's one monster.
I think
monsters.
Brad was talking possibly about getting some community service workers. And getting the trailer and taking it all over there that one of these days.
okay,
Yeah, so I'm doing now and then, and just, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but I have a list of all the stuff that, for a meeting before the recycle day, the value of the goods isn't exceeded by the cost of sale. It doesn't have nothing has a fair market value.
Have you ever run across anything with Abraham Lincoln signature on it? Or did he ever found it?
I would see anything.
It sure can be down there though. Yeah, oh, no, nothing like that. This is computers,
Yeah.
old computers. Yeah, it's not any of the records.
Yeah, there's a separate room for the historical society, you know, they have their own shelving. We're just needing department heads to go through and get rid of printers, old monitors, stuff that for some reason they brought down there, they felt that it needed, or why, but doesn't belong down there. So try to get that cleaned up.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay, you want to make a motion to close the meeting?
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.